So, what does it truly mean not to be religious? Meaning, you've left your religion, you've figured out that your religion is maybe a cult or invented, and still believing in God. So, as I went through and going through all this changes internally, where I am seeing clearly the the injustice within religions and the beliefs and um, the uh, the ugliness in which it depicts women, and disgraces women, and um, is pro wars and death and taxes. I started to search for anyone who didn't just become an atheist due to the fact that their religion was complete insanity, which I didn't find. Well, there is something called agnostic, but I thought agnostic means you believe in God, but you're not related to any specific religion. And then as I researched that, I'm like, no, agnostic means somebody who still hasn't defined. They believe there's still more to see before, you can't say one thing is right or one thing is wrong. It's basically just someone in between. And then an atheist is someone who, in general, doesn't believe in God and doesn't believe in religions. Now, what happens to people who have a deep connection to divinity, to God, to truth, and yet cannot relate to religion and has felt kind of duped by God through religion? Now, I don't know if there's a specific name, if you guys have that name or what that person would be called. I would love to learn more about that. However, I can say clearly that this is the space in which I am truly in. I believe in the creator of all, in thing that is larger than me, in something that is just of utter unconditional love, that always has my back, that is taking care of me, that absolutely adores and loves me and everyone else on this planet. And I do believe that the way that the religions have portrayed God, like this crazy narcissist, basically, just a psychopathic narcissist of a God, is man-made. Are basically people just sitting there thinking, what's the best way to dupe humanity, to dupe others, to feel empowered, to have an array of women to have sex with at pleasure, to marry a 9-year-old child without any women's consent or her child's consent, because she doesn't know, because even her mother or any woman from her religious tribe or culture believes that this is normal. So there is no protection of a child. There is no protection of women. Women are brainwashed to believe that this is normal and okay. However, I'm not going to go specifically into what religion I'm talking about, but I'm searching all religions, and a lot of them are just, like not even, it's like waking up one day and being like, you know what, there's something so off, and I'm ready to actually look into it. Because I'm sure a lot of you have felt in your body that there's just something so wrong about this religion that I'm in. It cannot be that the creator of all would come up with such a stupid way of dealing with humanity, the humans he created, the humans it created, right? These wonderful beings on this planet. It cannot be that there's like hell and heaven, and then there's so much oppression of women and abuse of women and abuse of children, and the right to beat a woman or strike a woman or even like tap a woman, whichever way they're trying to dilute this mayhem craziness, right? Is like, oh, you can tap a woman if you fear that she's being disobedient. Like even just your own fear as a man, like, oh, I fear she's being disobedient or arrogant, I can strike her to teach her how to go back. Like, who gave them the right to be those kind of men to begin? Who gave them the right? So God. So the perception of God in religion is of a psychopath God, so you can know so clearly it is man-made. And now when you think of specific religions, they tell you not to question it. And if there's something you don't understand, it's because your mind hasn't opened up to the wisdom of God saying this message. And you got to reread it over and over again until God bestows upon you the wisdom to open your eyes to. So as I researched for like God knows how many years of my life, most of it was like, ew, what is this? And I'd go and I'd talk to like the spiritual people and the people who are into this stuff and the knowledgeable people, the people who know the book, right? And their responses were so grotesque. It made men look like horny, crazy, sexual predators all the time. So I remember asking so many questions, like, well, why is a man allowed to get married to many, many women? Like, what is that all about? Well, it's the kindness of their heart. If a woman is in distress, if men used to go to wars, and so women had no men to protect them. That was in back that time, and they had to marry as many as possible, but they could only do 4 because they have to be equal. And it was like, ooh, what the hell? Like product, like not even ask the woman or, and if a woman doesn't want another wife, then he has the right to either divorce her or choose not to take on another one because it's too much for the woman. But it depends on the man's hormones, like what kind of man he is. And just by looking at a lot of these religions, I'm talking specifically about, you can tell which one, but this isn't the only one that has this identity or this way of talking. So there's a quote, it's like quoted with, well, this was back in the day. You don't know much about history, do you? Or what was really happening? It's still happening till today. And if it just so happens that this religious book is supposedly till the end of time, then it's a very unjust book, right? And if this specific prophet or all prophets came down to add value to humanity and to give value to humanity, then obviously this is not giving value to humanity in any sense. It is actually very demeaning. And the thirst to make your religion the right one, and the fear in which every religion says your religion is the right religion. If you look outside of it, that's it. You are going to the pits of hell. And then there's a whole description of what you're going to go through for doubting, for being skeptical, for not believing, for not trusting, right? So to take all that stupid male books, they're male, masculine guys, men, created this book so that they can have power, they can go to war, which they love to do, they can have sex with as many women as they want. Yeah, and another cool part is they can marry their 4 wives and have sex with their slave women, right? And so you have sex with their slave women, or they don't even have to be women, by the way, they can also be anyone who gets her period. Like she could be 9, right? Like one of the prophets married a 9-year-old. No, sorry, he married her at 6. Let's just be clear. He waited 2 years until she acclimated to the environment because of the kindness of his heart. And then he had sex with her at 9 because she was already a woman by then who can bear children and use her boobies to give milk. So yes, sick and disgusting on so many levels. And yet we cannot see that. A lot of people don't see it. They give a million excuses for shitty behavior, right? So how could this be somebody that God Almighty spoke to and wrote this ridiculous nonsense book? Okay, ridiculous book. So I'm still going through all this. I kind of left it years ago, but I still had the fear inside of my body of, oh, what if it is true and I go to hell? What if, what everyone was saying, where it's a magical book, it's a miracle book. No one can write anything the way this book is written, to only discover, oh my God, there's nothing in this book that makes sense. A lot of it is made up. A lot of it is just nonsense. A lot of it is abuse of female. The female gender is like a product, right? A trophy, nothing of worth, or of value, or of she has no feelings, no emotions. She's just there to procreate and to please the man. And this is what the messenger of this book was doing and giving privileges to. Also just quoting how there's something called Hur al-Ain in heaven when you die, and there are like 72 or 74 women there that are like voluptuous and transparent and just sexual beings, basically a brothel. So in general, it's like waking up to this truth and then like searching and seeing that what. So then everybody goes to atheism. It's either no God, all God and fear of God, or atheism. I've discovered through this journey that there is divinity. There is that unconditional love, and whatever was portrayed through these books and what was fed to us, like cover yourselves, or you have to be decent and polite, and women, I don't know, a million rules and regulations. If you're interested, I could share a whole bunch of them. Let me know in the comments below. In general, but there is something larger than us, and I can say with certainty that divinity, creator of all, energy, life force energy, whatever you want to name it. I can call it God now because I don't have any angst against that word anymore. I do not relate it to religions. I do not relate it to anything outside of my personal experience with something higher, something that is unconditional love, something that adores the crap out of me in my life and is there for me every time I turn to ask. So how about what happens with us people, right? You still believe, because you clearly see that this is man-made, and it was only to serve man, man's private parts and man's need to conquer and have power and have followers, right? And give rights to other men to abuse women and females and children, right? And beating, whatever the hell that is. So, but then that isn't a God-made text or book. God kind of lives within you in a way. God is like your companion here, but not in a horrific, fear-based, like, leave this religion, you'll go to hell. You have to succumb to your husband and listen to everything he says. You are unworthy until you're married. You must cover your hair and cover your arms and cover your face because you are born sinful and you're too tempting for men. If they see you, they can't help themselves, so it becomes your fault, right? It's just a sick, 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 sick world. So that's not God, that's a religion. We have our brain, right? We have our brain to use. We have our intuition to trust, which all religions shove you out of your intuition and say, hey, if you feel that this is weird and awkward, shut it down. That's the devil. That's the devil. It's not really your intuition. It's not true essence. God speaking to you saying, this is rubbish. I would never say this crap. You have to know that this is narcissism, or a sociopath or a psychopath who's writing this book. And the same way that Hitler was able to manipulate all these people to go murder Jews or murder people who didn't look like him is the same thing with these prophets and religions. They were able to manipulate a whole bunch of people that just wanted to follow somebody because they didn't know anything better and they couldn't think for themselves. So wake up, wake up, wake up. Trust that divinity does exist. Trust that there is something larger than you taking care of you and loving you unconditionally. And just try to break down all the programming of religion that has consumed you to make you believe as a woman that you suck and you're worthy to be treated like dirt and that your value is just of nothing other than how your husband treats you, right? Or how he looks at you, or how anybody looks at you. You are free as a female to be a human, because the real true God, the true divinity essence, is not saying anything against you. You are created by this creator of all. That means you are loved unconditionally. So I just wanted to make this clear, because this is intense. Most of the world is consumed by crazy religions, consumed by the notion of God being all like male chauvinist, basically, right? And then they brainwash you to believe that no, it's not really like that. Oh, when God said hit the woman, it's with a little piece of wood. It's called a miswak, and you just you shame and guilt her, basically. What, can I shame and guilt my husband the same way? Can I be like, shame on you, you're mean to me? Hell no, that's not written there, right? Of course not, right? And then, of course, it's also mentioned that women have ناقصين عقل ودين. Basically, they are missing intellect and intelligence and wisdom and brain cells, basically, and missing religion because they get their period. So therefore, they're dirty and filthy at that time. They're not even allowed to pray. But which is really disgusting. Like, imagine God's like, ew, these disgusting beings that I created. Ew, when they start to bleed, how gross. When that's the magic of women. We can bleed without dying, and lots of beautiful blood comes out, and this is the reason we can procreate. Like, the total opposite of the bullshit that is being fed to women. The problem with me is these women are brainwashed, and they're feeding this nonsense to their own children. Teach them God, that God is love and unconditional love, that God adores you, that God would never want anything that's written in these nonsense books to be of truth. God doesn't want to hurt you in any way. Just like break free from that program, release yourself. You don't have to be an atheist. You can still believe in divinity, but you can come up with your own understanding of divinity. It's really a very private conversation between you and your source, you and that which is larger than you and your creator, you and your essence, you and your higher self, whatever that is. You're going to feel in your body the love, the unconditional love that comes just through your personal connection. And God speaks in such a kind, loving way. It's gentle, it's sweet, it's loving, and it's tender. There is no fear, there is no threat, there's no guilt, there's no shame, there's no force. There is nothing other than a pleasant, easy communication style, right? First and second of all, don't fear the stupid devil stuff. That's all made up to put fear in you. So anything fear-based, just know that is not from divinity, which is all religions. Just take them, push it, get them out of your house, start to wake up to truth, wake up to God, just you and God. That's all you need, you and God. Right? You don't need any book to tell you how to communicate with your divinity or who you need to be. You don't need to become submissive to nonsense because you're so afraid to deal with hell. I know so many mothers who are like, oh, my daughters, they're not getting veiled, or they're going against this religion or that religion. What am I going to do? God's going to ask me when I die, and it'll all be my fault. They don't even care about the kid. They're just like, oh, I'll be punished, right? So it's a builder of narcissism. Religions are a builder of narcissism, deep embedded narcissism, selfishness, self-centeredness, evil to the word. Like you have the right to hate upon other people. You have the right to kill upon other people. You have the right to abuse women because you are the man. This is God is telling you. Who can argue with God? When somebody comes and says, I got a revelation from God and this is the truth and he gave me a book and this book will last for eternity. It's not only one religion that says that. All religions say that their book is the truth coming from God. So it's time to think about it a little bit, And I will give you a tip. What worked for me is every day I'm like, God, show me truth. My God, not the religion God, the God that I came to terms with, the God that now I love, that has nothing to do with the religion God, which is a narcissistic, demonic God, right? My God, show me truth. Bring me light. I only want you. I want my truth. I feel safe in your presence. I trust. And slowly you will open up to truth and you'll see how afraid you are to leave that stupid ass religion. Sorry, I'm just reeling with anger and rage at myself for falling for this for most of my life, trying to dodge it and be like, no, it must make sense. I mean, everyone in the community says this is the truth. Never doubt it. And if you doubt it, it's the devil inside that's whispering this and you're going to burn in hell for the rest of your life, right? But yes, I permit you to doubt it. Doubt the crap out of it. Look into it. It has no weight. These are lies. Look into it for yourself. Hear the stories. Read it again. Make sense of it. And if it doesn't make sense, it's because it actually doesn't make sense. I love you all. Leave your comments at the bottom. Only kind ones. Anyone who's going to be an ass, please don't even leave it. I don't care to read it, and I don't think anyone will care to read it. If you disagree with what I say, I truly don't even care about that either. So only if you agree, yes, it's my right. It's my channel. Only if you agree with what I say or you have something to add of value to those going through this much pain, please leave it in the comment and share your stories. Anything other than that is refused on my channel, right? I will delete your comment. Okay? If you're going to be mean about it or cruel or sit and like punish through the word of God when that is not the God you're speaking through some narcissistic demonic entity. All right? Love you all. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the next episode. Tell me if you enjoy this so I can talk about this even more.